say Persona 5 is a very, very good game is an understatement. To say it is long is also an understatement. To say that this JRPG that came out in 2017 has not just shifted the genre, but the gaming industry as a whole is an understatement. Hell, even Masahiro Sakurai, director of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, has stated the game's user interface is influenced by Persona 5. But what if it was made to be even better? That is exactly what Persona 5 Royal accomplishes, taking everything from the first and making it better. The start of the game throws us straight into a heist, with characters speaking to the main character, referring to them as Joker. We are running in the top part of a casino, attempting to escape some police force. You run until you reach the first battle, which introduces us to the very basics of the game, where we are shown the actions we can take in battle. Use our persona, do a melee attack, use a gun, use items and guards. Defeat the enemy and continue progression. Eventually, you will reach a large empty room where we are introduced to a female character with her red hair and a ponytail, wearing a leotard, who helps us with the second battle of the game and shows us an all-out attack, something that allows all characters to perform a super move to do a lot of damage. After this, the main character, Joker, is apprehended by the police and we choose Joker's name and the difficulty of the game. Then the entire game is told as a recollection of Joker's story about his work with the Phantom Thieves as he is interrogated. We then learn Joker was a transfer student who was transferred to Shujin Academy in Tokyo after being convicted of assault in his hometown. He now lives with Sojiro Sakura, owner of a coffee shop, and has a terrible reputation at his new school. He then enters the Metaverse, a universe where cognitions of disturbed people's view of the world manifest, with Ryuji Sakamoto and meets Morgana, the talking cat. Soon they get their personas, a manifestation of their rebellion. Meet Aunt Takamaki, who awakens her persona, and they plan to take down Kamoshida, a perverted gym teacher in Shujin Academy, who even broke Ryuji's leg and claimed it as self-defense. This excellently explains the rest of the game. Find a really evil dude, meet someone connected to the bad dude who awakens their persona out of rebellion, explore their palace, which palaces are how cognitions manifest in the metaverse, and then steal their treasure, which is the source of their disturbed desires. You may think it gets a bit repetitive, but Persona 5 Royal manages to keep it fresh by continuously twisting the idea while keeping the same formula at its very roots. Finally, you find Kamoshida's treasure, but it's a cloudy mess. To make it physical, so that you can steal it, and thus make the target a good person, you need to send a calling card. The Phantom Thieves do this, and then fight Kamoshida out, making for a relatively tough fight until after making the right moves, defeating him and taking his treasure. While interesting, this entire first arc of the game takes around 10 hours, with a lot of it being tutorial. However, we are neglecting to mention one of the game's largest features, Confidants. Confidants, or social links as they were called in other Persona games, are 10-step events with characters in the game that allow the player to really understand their character. There are around 20 or so of them in Persona 5 Royal and can all be completed in a single playthrough if the player excellently manages their time. However, if the player finishes the palace in one in-game day, this leaves them with around 20 in-game days to do Confidants, which can be a bit boring. The game does have other things for the character to do, like a darts minigame, batting minigame, and Mementos, which is an area where the player can fight enemies to level up. However, doing Confidants supports you much more, but they are very boring for the most part and may sometimes not even work to progress your Confidant. Now let's talk about differences in this game between Vanilla and Royal. The major changes are two new characters, Kasumi Yoshizawa and Takuto Maruki. These characters both have Confidants that are a little more interesting but ultimately make no difference until endgame. Goro Akechi, one of the characters from the original, now has a Confidant which once again is interesting but has no real meaning until endgame. Speaking of endgame, without going into spoilers, there is now a third semester which adds the month of January to the in-game calendar. We also now have Showtime, a super attack performed by two characters to do quite a bit of damage. I will admit, however, despite some of my complaints about the game, the good still outweighs the bad. The combat is made even better and more interesting. The additional third semester is very interesting in its plot. The two new characters, despite their confidants making no difference until third semester, are still very interesting to the game. And for its game time, which is around 100 hours. And I still haven't even gone over the masterfully done music by Shoji Meguro. That makes the game 10 times better. Despite some of the things Persona 5 Royal does not do well, the good far outweighs it, and still masterfully executes all areas: music, story, gameplay, and graphics, making it a 10 out of 10.